Okay, today's lesson is going to be page 43 in your math journal. In this one we're going to give the title of Dividing or how about division with mixed numbers. Okay, there's only one little thing that's going to be different about today than what we did yesterday. Because we're working with mixed numbers, we want to always turn our mixed numbers into improper fractions before we do anything. So, skip a line, put a star. Always turn mixed numbers into improper fractions. Before dividing or multiplying. Okay, if you can remember that, today is going to be a piece of cake. Everything we're going to do will just be division of fractions, but they're going to be mixed numbers, so you're just going to have to make them improper first. So, skip one line, and we're going to do a couple of examples. Okay, first example, let's do 2 1/4 divided by 3/4. Okay, first thing you want to do is always turn them into improper fractions first. So 2 1/4 is the same as 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So we have 9/4. Keep the first. Flip the second. Or let's keep this to the division for now. So I have all of my mixed numbers written as improper fractions. Now I'm going to keep the first, flip the second, change the sign so that I don't have a divide sign in there anymore. So this would be, keep the first, so this will stay 9/4. Flip the second one, so that's going to put 4 over 3. Change the sign in the middle. Okay, cross cancel if you can. 9 and 3 share a common factor of 3. So I'm going to divide by 3 and get 1 here, divide by 3 and get 3 here. 4 and 4 share a common factor of 4. So I'll just divide and give me 1 on both of those. Okay, now as ugly as that originally looked, multiply across the top. 3 times 1 is 3 over 1. My final answer is 3. Okay, not too bad. Let's try another one. Let's do 2 mixed numbers. Let's have 1 3/8 divided by I'm thinking about this one for a second so it works out okay. One and 5/6. All right. So if I take 1 and 3/8, divide by 1 and 5/6, first thing I want to do is always make them improper. So 1 times 8 is 8 plus 3 more, so this would be 11/8 divided by, this is an improper fraction, 1 times 6 is 6, plus 5 is 11, so 11/6. Now, if I take that and I divide, I'm going to keep the first, so I'm going to leave this 11/8. Always keep the first one the same. Your dividend never changes. Flip the second one, so this would be 6/11. Change the sign to multiply. Okay, cross cancel if I can. 11 and 11 cross cancels nicely. 11 goes into both of them. So this would give me 1. And this would give me 1 here. 8 and 6 both have a common factor of 2. So divide by 2, that gives me a 3 on top. Divide by 2 here, that gives me a 4 on the bottom. Multiply across the top and the bottom. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 1 is 4. My answer is 3/4. So you can see this really is not much different than what we did before. We just need our mixed numbers to be turned into improper fractions, just like we did when we were multiplying. So one story problem, where in the world would you use this in real life? Skip one line. Alright, here's an example of where you might use this. A road crew built a road that is 8 1/3 miles long. They worked for 5 days. How much road did they complete each day? So how much road did they complete each day? And then in parentheses, I'm going to put in miles. So how many miles of road did they complete each day? Okay, story problem. You have to think. What is your dividend? What is your divisor? Even with that, how do you even know if this is a multiplication or a division problem? How you know that this is division? This is a total. The road crew built a road that was 8 1/3 miles long. That's the entire road. So I have a total. They worked for 5 days. How much road did they complete each day? I want to know a part. I know part of the multiplication problem to get this total. So I need to be dividing to figure out that piece, or how much they did each day. So my dividend would be 8 1/3. And I'm dividing that by the 5 days that they worked. Okay, be sure that you think it through. What is being divided? What's doing the dividing? Or here's a total, here's a part, and I'm looking for the other part. Okay, first of all, turn it into an improper fraction. So 8 times 3 would be 24, plus 1 is 25. So 25/3 would be this as an improper fraction. Now, I'm still dividing, and I'm still dividing by 5. I'm just turning 5 into an improper fraction as well. Now, I've got my improper fractions. Now I can turn these into a multiplication problem. So keep the first. So I'm going to keep this 25 over 3. Change the second. So I'm going to make this 1/5. The reciprocal. Change the sign. Okay, now I can cross cancel if I want to because I have a multiplication problem. 5 goes into both of these. 5 goes into 5 one time. 5 goes into 25 5 times. 1 and 3 have nothing that I can cross cancel. Multiply across the top. 5 times 1 is 5. 3 times 1 is 3. 5/3 is the answer. However, I want my answer back into a mixed number. 3 goes into 5. If you're not sure what to do, remember the top one goes inside the box. The bottom one is your divisor. 5 divided by 3 would be 1 whole unit. And that would leave me with a remainder of 2. So that's the same as 1 2/3. Now this was a story problem. And this was asking how much road did they complete each day in miles. So what's my label for this one? Miles. So they completed 1 2/3 miles each day. Okay, make sure that's written nicely in your math journal.